Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now, today's first story comes from Stunning Mushroom, who says, am I the a-hole for being annoyed that my wife allowed my brother to stay at our house? My 39 male brother, 20, lives with his girlfriend about an hour's drive away from me and my wife. My brother and I have never been close due to the age difference. Our parents had me young and then him later in life. He was always the spoiled one who got whatever he wanted. We see each other on holidays and special occasions, but other than that, we might talk on the phone once or twice a month. Last night, I had to work late and could not be reached by phone. When I got off, I noticed that I had 2 missed calls from my brother and a few from my wife. But it was already close to 11 PM, so I chose to just drive home and not call and possibly wake someone up. I walk into the house and see my wife, 41 female, and brother on the couch playing Mario Kart. Great game. When I walk in, they both say hi and go back to their game. I went to the bedroom to shower and frankly, just sleep. I was exhausted. My wife comes in a few minutes later and I ask her why my brother was there. She said he called her because he and his girlfriend had got into a pretty heated argument and he just needed to get away from the situation for a little while he figured out what he was going to do. They only have one car and it's in his girlfriend's name, so he couldn't take it. Apparently, he tried to call me and when I didn't answer, he called her and she went to pick him up an hour away, even though she hates driving at night. They also went out to dinner before coming home. I told her that I find it odd that she would pick up my brother and take him to dinner, just because he got into an argument with his girlfriend, that he is an adult and needed to work it out. She just rolled her eyes at me and said he would be staying in the spare room as long as he needed, that I was acting weird and that he is my brother and has no idea why it was such a huge deal that he was here. I told her that if someone is staying at my house, especially my family, I should be the one who decides that he had no right to call her, that he should have waited for me to call him back and would be talking to him in the morning. She told me to deal with it and grow up, that he was always welcome here. My wife is now mad at me, and I am stuck with my brother in the house for who knows how long until he figures out his life. We already have 2 teens. I don't need another kid here. I stand by what I said. My brother doesn't need to be here, but my wife is still mad at me today. Am I the a-hole for saying that she should not have picked up my brother and allowed him to stay at the house? And after this post, it left me feeling like, why is OP so angry at his brother? There just seems something more going on, doesn't there? And apparently in the comments, OP continues saying, my brother never did anything horrible. Just our lives growing up were so different. My parents didn't have the money when I was young, so I was denied a lot of fun things that he was able to have because he came when they were older and settled into a career. He chose to live with a girlfriend when he was 18. They rent an apartment together. That was his choice. If I got into an argument or fight with my wife, I sure as hell wouldn't be running to my brother for help. He needs to grow up and deal with his own issues, and she needs to quit falling for everyone's sob story. He's an adult, but he's staying at my home like a kid. Go home, work it out, not call me or my wife to come rescue him. He does not own a car. They share a car and that is in her name. The city they live in has wonderful public transportation that he relies on. There is even service from where he lives to where we live, just not at night. They are both on the lease for the apartment. He works from home right now. I still don't know what the situation is with him and his girlfriend or what happened. I had to go to work, so I've not had a chance to talk to him or the wife. I just don't think when things get tough, he should be running to family. He should suck it up and deal with his own issues. My wife, she is too soft and cares too much about everyone. I've tried for years to get her to have a backbone, but she feels bad when people are feeling bad. My parents live 2 states away, so yes, he could have called them, but they couldn't have done anything. They would have just ended up calling me too, asking me to help him out. I don't think anything is going on with my wife and brother. I met my wife when I was 19 and she was 21. She has known my brother basically since he was born. When we would visit my parents, he was always her little buddy. I just think that it's time he grew up and figured his shit out on his own, that she stopped feeling bad for everyone with a problem. We have a 16 and 17-year-old. I don't want them running home every time they have a problem as an adult. They will need to learn to be independent, just like my brother needs to. I haven't really had a chance to talk to anyone today as I'm at work. He works from home, so I'm assuming he is at my house working right now. I do plan on talking to both of them after work, because wife won't answer my text right now. People keep asking the same question over and over. I don't like my brother because he was spoiled as a child and given many opportunities that I was not. My parents expected me to have a job at 16, and I moved out at 18. He was sent to a better school, given better clothes, allowed to be in a band and other activities that when I was growing up, they couldn't afford, and he didn't have to have a job until he graduated. He's 20. He's been with his girlfriend since he was 17. He needs to be talking with her to work it out. Not at my home playing Mario Kart with my wife. No, I don't think they are having an affair. She has known him since the day he was born. He was always her little buddy. When we started having kids, she would include him in the activities like going to the zoo or to the park or whatever. This bothered me because these were things that I didn't get to do often as a child, but she always disregarded my feelings on this matter. My parents and brother moved 2 states away when he was 14. I never kept in touch minus holidays and an occasional phone call. I don't know if my wife kept in touch with my brother. She never said anything. He moved back when he was 18 with his girlfriend. There is a lower cost of living here and he was able to find a decent job working from home. I honestly just don't think that once you move out and are on your own, you should rely on family to help you out of any situation. People need to learn 100% to rely on themselves or they will never make it in this world. Same goes for my kids. I will talk to my wife and brother tonight and find out when he is leaving because he is not staying much longer. And we do have an update to this post in a moment, but that first paragraph, I thought I was reading about myself in there. I grew up with 3 other brothers, all who are older than me. I was late in life pretty much. The next brother up from me is 10 years older. And he makes jokes about me getting what I want, but literally they are jokes. And I know for a fact if I was in any sort of trouble, my sister-in-law would absolutely be helping me out in a situation. There's no doubt about it. And sadly, it just sounds like Opie's got issues about family. And I know therapy always gets thrown around a lot within these subreddits, but it certainly sounds like he needs some form of it. I totally understand that life is tough. Life is brutal. And that's why having a wonderful support network, if you can, with your family is a great thing. These last few years, I've relied on my family for all sorts, and they've been absolutely amazing. Never complained or anything like that. And personally, I don't see any issue with relying on family like that. And I do worry for his children with that kind of attitude that he's saying. It almost feels like I've suffered in my younger years and I relied on no one, so you must do the same. But OP continues in their update and says, I don't think just because I think at 18 a person should be out of the house and not rely on family to support them makes me a bad person. People need to grow up and be adults. I expect the same from my children. They are expected to have a job and save money to move out when they're 18 and graduated from high school. If they go to college, they can stay, but are expected to pay for it on their own and pay a small amount of rent. My wife does not agree with this and says they can stay as long as they need. I'm trying to make her see reason. As a kid, I was never taken to the zoo, museums, or out to eat. I was sent to a public school and not allowed to play sports or do activities because there was never money. I had to get a job as soon as I could. My parents were 16 when they had me. Even when they got older and had more money, I still did not get the opportunities that my brother was given. He got the best and I got nothing. This time, he stood on his own. Yes, my kids got to go to the zoo, park, museums, play sports and attend activities. They get a lot of what I didn't, but those are my kids, not my brother. I don't see why my wife would take him along with her. My brother has always loved her like another mum, so I had to share her with my brother too. I got home from work last night. Everyone was ready for dinner. After dinner, I told the kids to please go to their rooms so I could talk to my brother and wife. I asked my brother why he was there and why he felt the need to call us instead of working it out. He said he just needed to get out of the house. He had found out his girlfriend had cheated on him and she was planning on leaving. She blamed him for her cheating because he wouldn't marry her or have a baby with her, and that was what she really wanted. I said what she wanted wasn't unreasonable, that he was being immature. If he could live with her, he could marry her. My wife said that not everyone wants to be married and have children that young. He is an adult. Grow up. I said I didn't appreciate them making decisions without me. This could have been sorted out the next morning. No one needed to drive 2 hours or run away from home. I asked when my brother planned on leaving. He talked to his girlfriend and she was moving out by Sunday. Then he would go home. He had 2 months left on the lease, so he was going to look for something smaller to move into. I said that I didn't like him staying that long. My wife said, "He's your brother. A few days are not going to kill anyone." I agreed just to stop the fight. I didn't like it, but I felt backed into a corner. I still think he needs to go home and deal with his own problems. My brother said thanks, I appreciate it, and walked off. My wife and I talked some more. Neither one of us is really happy with one another. And now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? I personally can't see it ending very well, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now, our next story is one that we have covered in the past, but does have a new update to it as well. Titled, "Am I the a-hole for housing my daughter, but not my stepdaughter?" Hi everyone, this is a doozy. I love that word. And I think I might be the a-hole, but I wanted some opinions. I'm a 48 male who inherited a beach house from my grandfather. The house has been in my family for generations and it has a lot of sentimental value to me. I am now with my long-term girlfriend for 7 years after a divorce from my first wife, which ended on good terms. She has a daughter from a previous marriage and I have a daughter from my marriage as well. Our daughters are each 17, with mine being basically 3 months younger. Kara, the oldest, will be 18 in May. Kara has been in my life for 7 years and we have a good relationship. However, she has an active father in her life, so I did not fill that role. I was in her life 50% of the time, so I have no doubt I played a large role in her life, but I wouldn't say father. But others do say a non-legal stepfather. I have my daughter, Emmy, half the time as well, aside from summers where I had her more due to my and my ex's lifestyle. With that said, my ex and I have a good relationship, as does our daughter with all of us. Kara and Emmy have gotten along, and they are friendly. They have made plans independent of myself and my girlfriend, but they don't consider themselves sisters or best friends. Now to the issue. Kara will be going to school near the beach house and has asked if she can live in it to save money, which would be significant. Emmy approached me and has said she wanted to live there after the summer, but wanted to live alone while also in school. The home is more than big enough for two, but she pointed out that they have very different lifestyles and would be far more comfortable alone or with a friend if I insisted she live with someone. It was a frank conversation and she brought up the fact that the home will be hers one day, so it made sense. And she's right, the home will be hers by law in a few years as I will pass it to her. My girlfriend and Kara are very upset and calling it favoritism and pointing out that she will already be set for life between having a free ride to school via scholarships and housing while Kara will be using loans, and may have to take a gap year or attend another school altogether. They are asking me to reconsider, and I think I've damaged my relationship. Am I the a-hole for this decision? I agree that it's favoritism, but Emmy is my daughter. Of course I'm going to favor her, right? And some of the comments on this one, someone said, "Not the a-hole, you're Kara's mum's boyfriend and not Kara's stepfather, seeing as you're not married. Kara's dad needs to step up and support her if money is an issue." Next commenter said, "This is not in any way favoritism because you aren't married and you do not share assets. You haven't legally adopted Kara and the house isn't some asset the girlfriend will ever be entitled to. Girlfriend and Kara are acting entitled and are 100% in the wrong. I would put the house in your daughter's name as soon as she turns 18 and let them know you have no say in what she chooses to do with her property. Again, they were never entitled to any part of this lake house." Someone replies to that and says, "Exactly, since it's mentioned that her bio dad is actively in her life." Someone also says, "Chances are that neither Kara's mum nor dad have that kind of money, but that doesn't change the fact that the daughter who is in line to inherit the house doesn't want to live there with Kara, and apparently has non-petty reasons for that wish. OP is not the a-hole, but this might still be the end of the relationship." Another commenter says, "She's not trying to steal inheritance. She's trying to get help from someone who's been in her life for like half/third of her life. He may not have married her mum yet, but he has been dating her for like 7 years." Another commenter says, "They're not the a-hole for asking, but they are the a-hole for accepting no as an answer and finding it unfair that he treats his own daughter differently than his not even stepdaughter." Next one says, "She wants to go there for school, not live there permanently. He's still not the arsehole, but I don't think she or her mum are either." And a couple of comments who thinks OP is the a-hole just for a bit of variety. One says, "Not the point. OP has the ability to help Kara out, a child whose life he's been in for 7 years, whose mother is dating at little cost to himself. The girls living together as a roommate situation during school is hardly uncommon, and learning to deal/live with people who live different lifestyles and whatnot is a valuable skill. I have to go against the mob here and say, you're the a-hole, OP. It's still your house, not your daughter's. You've admitted that the area is barely affordable for a middle-class family, let alone a student, and that neither your partner or her ex will be able to contribute enough financially to make finding secure housing feasible. Ultimately, it's your call to make. Your bio daughter would like, but certainly doesn't need, a whole-ass house to herself, whereas the girl who has been in your life for the past 7 years needs safe and affordable housing. Give in to your bio daughter's demands and you'll be showing your partner exactly how much she and hers means to you. Very little. This could be a relationship killer. OP then kindly updates the post and says, I spoke to Emmy and her mum and let them know where I stood, and that was beside Emmy. But I also felt that Kara and her mum deserved a genuine conversation. The conversation was this past Friday. The talk started out okay. Obviously there were some emotions, but I started the conversation with telling everyone there would be no yelling and tears would not be used to influence anyone. After it was all said and we began, I just proposed the situation as, this is a second home that I own fully and outright. It will be Emmy's fully legally and in name in a few years, but as of today, it is mine. However, like the house, Emmy is mine and my responsibility. No one but us is entitled to it, and make no mistake, Emmy is indeed entitled to it. It may not be fair in your eyes, but it is what it is. Emmy, I can see why they may think it's selfish, as the house can accommodate you both, but I will support whatever you want to do. This is not a discussion to change your mind, but to better understand it. It started pretty bluntly from Emmy and her mum, saying that they didn't understand why she didn't want her to live there, as this would dictate a huge part of her future. The answer was half expected, and the other half hard for everyone to swallow. Emmy said she didn't trust Kara to actually focus on school and not make the home into a party house. She point blank asked Kara if she would actually accept not having guests over. Kara said something like, a few people 2 or 3 days a week wouldn't be a problem. The answer should have been yes. Emmy said she wouldn't feel safe with her bringing over strange men whenever she wanted, and her dad would want to visit, and she doesn't trust him at all. She said school was her main focus and staying safe would be a worry if Kara was there. Kara and her mum got defensive, but I told them it didn't matter. She can't say she won't bring people over tells me all I need to know. And my daughter's safety is paramount, and Kara's focuses were blurred. Socializing is fine, but perhaps I was wrong and it had gotten out of hand. I told my girlfriend that as a mother, she would have to address that, and that whatever the plan would be for Kara's schooling, had she not ever met me, would have to be her course of action. As for Emmy, after the conversation I told her she would have a roommate as I felt it was important. She was okay with that and asked if she could ask a friend. I told her yes, so all is good there. As everyone guessed, girlfriend is now ex-girlfriend. She asked me to stay somewhere else for a week while she found somewhere to stay. I reminded her that this was also my house, but she was free to leave whenever. She ended up going to stay with a co-worker, but something happened. She asked to come back, but I told her it wouldn't be wise. That's the update. Daughter is happy, I'm better than I thought I would be. Today's a new day. X will figure it out, and Kara has time to learn and grow. So this post made it to the best of Redditor updates, and that's where the OP found the post and then added their own update to that as well. And they said, to make a very long story short, this was not the full conclusion that I thought it would be. I'm not super familiar with Reddit, and I thought that update was deleted or not posted by the moderators. Kara is now in jail. She was picked up in a stolen Kia by some friend, and they used the car to break into a pawn shop. I couldn't tell you what was stolen or how much was stolen, but some football cards were taken, and I guess they were worth more than the car and building damage. I understand people will say a lot about this, but I can honestly say she never did anything remotely like this. The worst I think I saw her do was break a dish on purpose when she was 13. My ex, well, she's living in a shelter now. She was not cheating on me, and I never thought she was. That was just people making leaps. Unfortunately, the woman she was living with asked her to join her and her husband for activities after moving in. She felt she had to do it for a place to live, and she regretted it. She told people at work and was terminated after refusing a transfer. My daughter and I are good, but mentally shook. I just went crazy at the end. In the other update, when it said the girlfriend is now the ex-girlfriend, and she asked him to stay somewhere else for a week while she found somewhere else to stay. Absolutely bizarre, but now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.